welcome to Busted Speakers. Here's a review of a pretty unknown band. Well, completely unknown since I actually know the guy whose name is Ushin, which is actually related to on a song here. They were formed in mid-2015 by the guy, and he'd been saying he'd been recording with his friend pretty off the cuff, not that serious or anything, just messing around, having a good time, which is actually what I think most teenage bands should actually try and do. And then I heard he actually made a list for this because he was a bit desperate for promotion. Well, not desperate, but he wanted his stuff out to be heard by people, and it worked on me. And well, Guilt Trip gets you pretty far these days. Not that he did that, but whenever I see these things, they resonate in me. I feel bad for all the hours he went on making this, and well, here we are, covering it. What have we been reduced to? So it's...
Oh no.
Well...
Oh, I mean, the band is President of What, and the album is The Owners Will Be Home Soon.
I probably should have said that.
No, that's good, don't worry about it.
Only could see the title. Anyway, sounds like they had fun making this, and that's the main thing I take away from this. And these days, I just need some fun in my life, so this kinda worked for me, despite some obvious flaws and stuff that didn't work out. We'll get to that. Yeah.
Yes, so for me, stood out to me was The Owners Will Be Home Soon, and then John's song.
Those are your favorites.
Yeah, those are my favorites. I like John's songs a lot because it's just a fun, they kept it raw. There's some parts where they were laughing in the song. It made me smile to see them having fun and enjoying what they're doing. It was simplistic guitar, but it really adds to the really absurd lyrics of that song, about bleeding out and hitting your head and stuff like that. And despite it being such a depressing song, it was pretty fun to listen to.
I thought it sounded a bit like Andrew Jackson Jihad a bit.
Yeah, I can see that. That was probably my favorite song.
It's good, but they'll get there. 2025, they'll be on top of the world. So,
but the other song was The Owners Will Be Home Soon, and that gave me I don't know if you guys know the band La Dispute.
No.
They're like a metal spoken word group, and they gave me kind of the same vibe with that song. I thought the lyrics were actually pretty amazing about they said they kept repeating I had this cancerous cold, which I really liked.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like that song. The only problem, I think it's a problem for the whole album, vocals were kind of masked behind the instrumentals, and you couldn't really hear what they were saying.
No, since they were from the UK, I had a little bit of a kickstart with them. Well, I don't know, I just feel as if compared to maybe US audiences, maybe I understood some of it more, similar to the Arctic Monkeys or something. Not that
That's possible.
Yes, it's possible, yeah. I think my favourite song was Steady Hands, which I think
definitely.
is actually probably the best look into how good they could really be and kind of are here if they focus all their strengths together. It's got a really catchy melody. It's sung pretty goofy, which is actually a common theme for the whole album, so nothing new there. But there's a punch to this song that really gets me. And although it's only two guys, sometimes you forget that. I feel like there might be 3 or 4. This might be the only song where I feel like the bass has any real punch. A few dodgy lyrics and vocals, but it feels like this could be a major label quality release, which is about as good as I can say. Obviously an album track thing, but I really like that one.
Yeah, so with that track, I thought the lyrics were kind of corny.
Yeah.
They're just generic pop alternative remix. But I really like how like they were kind of depressing lyrics, but they really did contrast that with like the dancey music. And I feel like that'd be a really good sing along song. Like if you're in a car and with a group, that song would be fun to sing along to.
Yeah. Any favorites, Cam?
I think Steady Hands was definitely my favorite too, for pretty much all the reasons that you said. And I probably shouldn't do this too often, like comparing what I thought to what other people have thought. But the guys made a thread on the RYM boards asking people to listen to it, and so I did. And, of course, I was skimming through other comments, and a lot of people said, the vocals are atrocious. These are, like, awful, terrible things. And I thought that they weren't, like, too bad. Like, not unlistenable to any degree. Like, definitely rough and untrained and, like you've been saying, kind of, just a goof off. But... which is fine, but at the same time, it's kind of doing them a disservice because there's better sense of melody and better musicianship than the vocals would indicate if that was all you heard of the album. But the only one that like really bugged me was Die Alone, the closer.
Right, okay.
And I think their worst problem is that they're like just lousy editors. It's a goof off album. It's just something that they did for fun to see what they could get away with. So you got like genuinely pretty good songs like Steady Hands, and there were a couple others in there that just clash with experimental nothings that like they could have been good if they were like more focused on, but I just don't think that they worked well together with the actual songs.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think the failed experimental songs, and You Wouldn't Believe How Hard, I think that was a song.
Yeah.
And they had these like awful guttural vocals. They tried to make like this screamo type album, and they just weren't good. I think those I would consider almost unlistenable. But I think he genuinely has a decent voice. He definitely needs to train the voice, but I think he should stick to his pop punk. Right.
Pronounced Usheen, which is basically me agreeing with you there, because it's a well-played acoustic guitar chord, although the weird thing is, even though it's obviously lo-fi, sometimes the production is a bit too good. Like I can hear the squeak of the acoustic guitar chords on a few songs. Anyway, this one, it's obviously pretty notable in that it shows the dissatisfaction of Usheen in people mispronouncing his name. Like if you see it's spelled Oisin, so you'd probably think that's Oisin or something, but stuff like that definitely shows that they were having fun, but very bad editors. I think they actually hear them at the end of some songs saying, "No, leave it in, lads, that'll do."
Yeah, the intro track had that like squeaky acoustics, and I actually kind of like that in the intro track. And normally the intro track should set the tone of the album, so I thought like an instrumental post-rock sort of album. And then you get the second song, All Men Are Pigs, and you get this grimy screamo punk song that wasn't that good. Normally I do like screamo and punk, and I just didn't really enjoy that song. But then you get rap, and then you get like a pop punk sort of style, and you get all these different styles.
What was it? He writes the raps, I write the notes.
He said, I write the raps and he writes the notes.
Is that like a take on the DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince album? Like, he's the DJ, I'm the MC or whatever?
I think that's exactly what I connected it to.
Yeah.
Now that song is probably a better effort at combining rap and indie rock than you might have heard of them. Ed Sheeran and Jake Bugg, they're really big in the UK. They've tried to...
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, Jake Bugg's slightly better, but he definitely plagiarises people like Bob Dylan and makes some folk pop, so avoid that if you can. You probably have already.
Now I gotta check it out.
Well, his first album had some good songs, but he's definitely gone down the rabbit hole recently. Anyway, off track. This one wasn't actually that bad, because I think it was actually their most focused song, because they were focusing on getting the raps right. They probably thought that was funny, but they weren't, so kinda worked in spite of itself. I also wanted to talk about All Men Are Pigs. That was the first song I heard, and love-hate relationship with this, which I probably shouldn't dedicate something like that to something like this, but the best aspects of this song are the verses. They are really good. They're some of the best moments of this album, and then there's that bit that can go out the window, and then the chorus is quite upbeat, which is pretty rare for the album, and then it has all the joke aspects, so I'm not sure what to think.
So one thing I enjoyed, I actually, how they vary their songs, like some were longer, some were shorter. Texture, not a texture, but like a bit of a better listening experience. But the only thing I would recommend that they do is narrow down that sound. They're not good with the screamo metal sound, and the pop punk is, dare I say, pretty good for them. And the rap is not bad, but the lyrics are kind of generic for most of the rap songs. So
yeah. So overall, I think it's a pretty reasonable effort at a debut album. Like, this could be seen as a demo tape that could get better recorded, like just a cassette in the late 90s, imagine that. And it just gets some maybe people in the underground like us listening. They create a buzz. Actually, hot off the press, Oisin told me that they had some interest from a record label, which he's skeptical about. So, good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Power to them if they can get.
Yeah, it won't be like EMI or Columbia, but it's who it is.
One last thing, the song, I'm glad you think this is. I think that was a complete ripoff of 21 Pilots' Car Radio. It starts off with like this rock sort of verses, and which aren't bad, and the beat is pretty good too. But then it tones down, and then it comes into the screams. And I don't know if you listen to Car Radio, but the same thing. It starts off very, very rap-ish, rock style, and then it tones down, and then it goes into these screams. And I think they do it much better than Presidents of What do it, because his screams need a lot of work. If he wants to continue with the screams, these are way too high pitched. They just sound like, have you listened to goats scream?
Yeah.
This is what it sounded like. That's what it sounded like, and I'm like, I like the attempt. I think the execution is kind of poor.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think that's a good description of the whole album.
Well, I'm going to defend the lads here. They really tried. I'm not being paid by them, by the way, but they really tried, which makes me appreciate it more than some clearly technically better records out there. So, scores, I can't give it less than a 6, which is probably too generous, really, but I don't know, I think they had some good moments. They've got clear potential, and, good on them.
How about you, Cam? What did you rate this one?
I'd give it a 6 as well. Like you said, there's definitely potential there. And I feel like this is the kind of album that, maybe in a few years we'll look back on and be like, there were some pretty, they're really good now, but, even back on their very first album, there were some signs of greatness, even if the, where they started wasn't great as a whole, kind of like, for some reason, when I was listening to it, I kept floating back to Captain Jazz, who I don't think they really sound like Captain Jazz, but it's just like, members of that band went on to, like, The Promise Ring and other influential 90s emo bands, and then people found Captain Jazz, and it's like, hey, it's the same people. They were really good even back then. I don't think that they're gonna like change the game or anything, or like bring rock back into the mainstream or whatever. But I just think it's something that we'll look back on with more appreciation if they can learn to restrain themselves and be a little more judicial in their editing.
Yeah, for me, I give this a 5 out of 10. I think there are 3 or 4 really good songs, and well, not really good. 3 or 4 songs that I enjoyed and saw the potential in, but there was just a lot of things that I couldn't vibe with. I couldn't really get into. They have potential. We just need to narrow down their sound to one specific sound, or maybe a couple sounds that they're good at. Because, like I said, throughout the whole review, the screams were not good. And I generally enjoy screamo metal music. So, but this was a kind of a bit way too pitchy for me.
Well, there you have it. The screams were not good. Well, hopefully next time they can scream a bit louder and I'll hear them from across the North Sea or whatever. That's not right. Anyway, thanks for listening. Check out the album. It's actually a free download on Bandcamp. Maybe we can post it below. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Busted Speakers. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. We really do appreciate it. Check us out on social media for the latest news and updates and things going on with our channel. And follow the links below for some other great videos you've created. We know you'll enjoy them.